Okay, so the next section is making your career plan. So classic careers advice, such as that you'll find in, which is the book, What Color is Your Parachute, which is probably the biggest selling careers advice book of all time, basically tells you to really figure out what you want and then just go and get that thing. So it's quite focused type of career plan. But the problem with this is, as we've just seen, your plan is almost definitely going to change. You'll change and the world will change. And so it's very hard to predict, even just a few years out, what the best option for you will be. On the other hand, you don't just want to bungle around with no plan. Having specific goals does make people more successful and achieve more. So what's the answer? How do you balance these two things? And I think the answer is a flexible plan. And so I'm going to introduce you to what we call the ABZ plan, which is a type of flexible career plan. So your plan A is basically the option you most want to go for. This is the top plan that you're going to focus on. There's actually two options for your plan A. One is if you're already pretty confident in your top option, then just go and figure out how to get to that top option and then try and get it. But if you're really uncertain, then instead your plan A could be to try out 2 to 4 things over a couple of years, like we just talked about in the talk just before. Okay, then what about plan B? That's basically the nearby alternatives to your plan A. So this is what you want to do to figure out your plan B is think about what things might go wrong with your plan A, and then what you'll do in that eventuality. So what obstacles do you anticipate? And then if those come up, what will you do? And then finally, your plan Z. If this all fucks up, then what's your temporary fallback, where you regain your feet and then figure out what to do next? One thing to note about plan Zs is that probably they're just actually not that bad. Probably they involve going to live with your parents, living in a room that's at the perfect temperature, with plenty of food, a feather pillow, no starvation at all involved. Basically better conditions that has been available to 99% of humans that have ever lived. And this is quite liberating in that it just means that most of us don't face really bad risks in our careers. The worst case scenario is not that bad. And that's the point of the plan Z, to just give you that extra confidence to take more risks. Okay, so here's an example plan. This is a hypothetical one. So suppose you are most interested in working towards these ones, founding an international development nonprofit or doing development economics research. What's your key uncertainty? How good a fit would I be with academia? That's a very common one. Okay, and then what could you do over the next couple of years? Here's a couple of options. Consulting, for the reasons we mentioned, as a 2-year thing. Grad study in economics, obviously that's important for these options. And then also working in developing country, which is something that everyone in international development tells you to do if you want to work in international development. Okay, so then how could the plans shake out based on this? So plan A, you're still an undergraduate, imagine. So in the summer holidays, go to a developing country and do a consulting internship. Then you could do 2 years of consulting. And then after that, you can go back to grad school and do grad study in economics. And then at the end of that, you can just choose between those two paths based on personal fit. You've got a bit of a sense, you've got much more information, in fact, about both of them, because grad study has shown you much more about what it would be like being an economist within academia, and then going to developing country has given you some more information about working in non-profits. Okay, so the main obstacle anticipated is maybe just, I won't get into consulting because that's pretty hard. So in that case, what to do? This is plan B. One option is just to go to graduate school a year earlier. Another option would be to then try and find a non-profit internships, which then helps you explore that path a bit more. Okay, and then plan Z, if that doesn't work, move back in with parents and work at the deli I worked at last summer. And then I'll have enough money, and then I can figure out what my next steps are going to be.